YTBC, what's the deal? First, let me give a quick shout out to Joe HABEEB, and the Boxing Voice, the whole crew. But shouts out to Joe. We go back, shit, 2010, 2011. I remember that's when members of the YTBC were all doing Uvo collaboration videos, D-Style and Carcino and Blood Boxing. We're all doing it. So shouts out to Joe, even back in the Rope A Dope radio days. But shouts out to Joe. Now, I'm gonna leave the video he made in the description box so you can go check it out. But the video he made was just who is the future of the heavyweight division. Joe went on to say that one of his Twitter followers sent this question out, just who's the future of the heavyweight division, and then they wanted the fans to vote. And I will leave that poll in the description box also, so you can go to it if you're on Twitter or whatnot and vote and leave your vote. But the fighters were Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Alexander Povetkin, Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin, Joseph Parker, and Vladimir Klitschko. All right. And I believe Joe said that he thinks Tyson Fury is the future of the division. Now, when people were leaving their votes for this poll, they had Anthony Joshua #1, Tyson Fury #2, Deontay Wilder was #3, and I know last was Charles Martin. All right. Now, this is just really tough to answer, man, because it's so wide open right now. Like, that Vladimir Klitschko loss just pretty much just changed the landscape of the whole division, where it's really hard for me to just pinpoint who I think the future of the division is going to be. When I break down the styles, I break down their age, the ages of the fighters, you know, are they battle tested, who they've been in there with. It's just really hard to just pinpoint one guy, you know. In the next 4 years or so, nothing against Tyson Fury, but he might not even be the best Fury around. It may be Huey, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so hard, man, for me to pick one guy. What I will say is this, though. If you're asking me just right now today, if I had to pick somebody, it would be between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I don't see how fans can have Anthony Joshua ahead in this poll. Again, it's the fans, you know, and they're just, you know, this all forecasting. We're all just forecasting, you know. And I know Anthony Joshua, he physically looks the part, and, you know, a lot of people think, you know, his power is just off the charts. Now, some of his stoppages, I'm not trying to knock them, but some of them, the guys were on their feet. Looked like they got stopped early. Not to say that he wouldn't have went on to stop the guys, but I know a lot of people look at his power, his size, and his youth, you know. But one thing that I think we're forgetting is Tyson Fury is only 27 years old, you know. So I know, you know, a guy like Anthony Joshua, he is, what, how old is Anthony Joshua? 26. So a lot of people, for some reason, they think Joshua's like a lot younger than what he is. And sometimes I think fans get the impression like he's 20 or 21 years old, like he's this 20-year-old hot shot like Mike Tyson or something coming up, when, you know, Joshua's more into his you know, his grown man strength than some of us believe. But if I had to pick a guy, man, I would probably, it'd be a tie between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Now, the reason for that is the size. Fury is very versatile, you know, and in a heavyweight, yes, you need a big punch, but he's versatile with his style, you know, and he's very unorthodox, man. He's just a crafty big guy that knows how to move his hands, know how to move his feet. He's tough. He can, you know, he can take a punch. He's not the best inside fighter. He doesn't have, you know, the greatest power in the division, but I think he does a lot of other things that people overlook. In my opinion, I mean, Larry Holmes wasn't a huge knockout puncher. You know, Ali wasn't a huge knockout puncher. You don't necessarily have to be a huge knockout puncher in the division. You know, so sometimes I think fans get that misconception. Now, Deontay Wilder, he has shown some versatility in his fights also, fighting off his back foot. Now, it may not look the prettiest, you know, it may not look the most fluid, but he has shown the ability to fight off his back foot and use his jab. And he has an equalizer with that big right hand he likes to throw. Luis Ortiz is another guy. it's hard to gauge Luis Ortiz because he is 36 now. Age really doesn't matter in my opinion. I know a few months ago when I looked on BoxRec, I looked at the top 20, and I believe 14 of the top 20 were 34 years or older. So age really doesn't really mean anything to me in the heavyweight division right now in this era. So 36 isn't bad, but I mean 4 years from now he's going to be 40. So is he going to be a different fighter in 3 or 4 years? I'm not sure. Some people think Tony Thompson brought this up that he believes that Luis Ortiz is a lot older than 36. There's no proof of that. It's just, you know, Thompson's opinion, and I've heard a lot of fans say that, you know. But Luis Ortiz seems very versatile. You know, power, can fight off his back foot. Seems like a good inside fighter when he's placing shots. He can fight off his back foot and walk you into huge power shots. He can walk you down. Southpaw. It's just really hard to say, man. But if we're banking on the next, let's just say 4 years, I'm gonna put my money on Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua really doesn't have enough ring experience for me to say, you know what, he's the future. I at least need to see a little bit more of him to say, you know, with this Martin fight, and then probably 2-3 fights after. I mean, he only has 15 fights. You know what I mean? So maybe at fight number 20, you know, if he's undefeated by then still, or even if he puts on some good showings and he happens to lose a fight, because everybody thinks undefeated means everything. If you lose, you're not the future. No, even if he drops a fight, just depends on how he dropped the fight and how he comes back. But to me, it's just really hard to say who the future is of the division. And for those of you that watch my channel, follow my channel, you know I'm huge on prospects. I have damn near about 60 prospects in my playlist. Please go check that out, my heavyweight prospect playlist. So there's some up and coming guys, Alexander Teslenko, who I think may have a good future. Darmani Rock, who just signed with Rock Nation, he may prove me wrong. You know, Junior Fa out of New Zealand, Marius Briedis and Alexander Usyk are two guys at cruiserweight who I believe can fight at heavyweight. And they're not even on this poll, you know what I mean? But there's just a lot of guys, man. I can go on, and I really don't know. Adrian Granat's another guy who I've been looking at. There's a guy coming out the Olympics, Filip Hrgovic from Croatia, who I think might have a chance to make some noise. Iju Aganu is another guy. I mean, I go on and on with the prospects, but I mean, shit, in my opinion, Charles Martin is a prospect. Anthony Joshua's a prospect. Joseph Parker are prospect level guys who are just entering the contender stage of their career or approaching it. That's just my opinion. I know there's some guys out there, you know, like I've communicated with some fans and they get upset when I call Parker and Joshua prospect / contender guys. They think these guys are #1 contenders, and I know according to sanctioning bodies they are rated #1, but just me and my personal opinion, how I break down fighters when they're on their way up, I still look at these guys like prospect / contenders. All right, but as far as the future, to me, it's really hard to say. But if I had to pick, it's a tie between Fury and Deontay Wilder. Just their size, versatile. Wilder has the power advantage in my opinion, but Tyson Fury is a big fucking guy, man. He is a big guy, and you know, the older you get, the more sometimes you sit down on punches. So but I don't think Tyson Fury is a light puncher. You know what I mean? He may not be a huge power puncher, but he isn't a light puncher by any stretch. But and then Vladimir Klitschko, you know, it's funny, he loses one fight to Fury, man. He gets dominated in the fight on the scorecard. Well, in my opinion, he got dominated. Just got outworked, outboxed in that fight. Thought he was more active in that fight. He loses one fight after 18, you know, successful title defenses, and we're just all forgetting about him. So you can't forget Vladimir, although I do think just the Klitschko era may be over with. I could be wrong. He can come back and ice Tyson Fury. I looked at the bet odds, and they have both fighters at a -115, so they got an even fight, although Klitschko got dominated in the first fight. And when I say dominated, he wasn't beaten up, but just dominated. I thought Tyson Fury dominated the action of the fight, and he just controlled the fight, in my opinion. You know, but video is going kind of long. I can talk about heavyweights forever, man. But if you're asking me, it's a tie between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and I can't break the tie. I just really think those two guys are just right. to me, in my opinion, neck and neck. But Luis Ortiz and Klitschko, in my opinion, are right under those guys. And the other younger guys, you know, as far as young, meaning their pro experience, Parker and Martin and you know, Joshua. To me, those guys still have some proving to do. Just my opinion. I just think those other four are named are probably the top of the division. Just my opinion, though. YTBC. I'm out.